Good morning, guys. In the last session, we started our mini project development. This is our first mini project. In this project, we are understanding how to perform CRUD operations. Okay. In the last class, I created a project with dependencies, a Spring Boot starter project created, and we configured data source properties. In this project, we are using H2 database, which is an embedded database. This is for temporary purpose. And after that, we created entity class and repository interface. Entity class is used to map our Java class with the database table. The Java class, which is mapped with the database table, is called as an entity class. Then we created repository interface. Repository interface is used to perform operations with the database table. You don't need to write any logic to perform operations with the table because ready-made methods will be available. Ready-made methods will be available in order to perform operations with the database table. Then we created a service interface and we provided implementation for those methods. User account service is available in order to perform CRUD operations in the application. These are the methods we have identified. And for those methods, we have provided implementation also. Save and update the user account with one method. That method is doing upsert operation. Same method will be used for inserting the record as well as to update the record. And get the user accounts method is available, which is used to retrieve all the user records. Then get one user based on the user ID. This is used to implement edit functionality in the project. And here delete user account functionality is available, which is used to delete the user record based on the given user ID. And update user account status method is available, which is used to update the user record based on the given status. Now, today we need to develop presentation and a controller in our application. Okay, so the backend service layer is ready. Now we need to create the UI page. From the UI, we should be able to get the data to the backend. Fine. So for that, we are going to create a controller. So let me create one class, new class, user controller. That basically we can call it as user account controller. User account controller. I'm creating this inside a package called in.ashokit.controller package. User account controller class is created. In order to represent this class as a controller class, we will use @controller annotation. Got it? @controller annotation we are using to represent this class as a controller. Now first, we should be able to load the web page with the empty form. So for that, I'm writing one method, public string index. Public string index. So this method is going to return index page. Index page is nothing but our welcome page. This method, I'm going to map with a get request by using @get mapping. So by using slash, we are mapping this method. And from this controller method, I want to load one form with user binding. Okay. So to send the data from controller to UI, we are going to use model object. So why we are using model object? In this model object, we will set the data. Model.add attribute key comma value. So key I'm giving as a user and value I'm giving as new user account. Okay. So I'm creating one empty object and I'm sending that empty object to the UI. I'm creating one empty object and I'm sending that empty object to the UI. So this is a method. What is this? What is the purpose of this method? This method is used to load the index page. So this method is binded to get request with the /URL pattern. And in this method, we are taking model object as a parameter. What is the purpose of the model? Model.add attribute. Model.add attribute means it is used to send the data to the UI in the form of key value. Key is user, value is user object. I'm sending one empty user object to map our form to the user data. So once this controller is created, let us create the template, HTML page. Go to templates, new file. I'm going to create one HTML. That HTML name I am taking as index.html. Okay. Why we are taking index.html? Our controller is returning the name as a index. Okay. So let us see this index page is working as expected or not. This is index page. Just I want to understand whether my web page is loading or not. If the web page is loading, then we will do the designing for the web page based on the HTML tags. Okay. So I created a controller. Inside the controller, one index method is added. That method is used to load the index page. Currently in the index page, there is no logic, just one static message I am giving. Where the index page is created? Index page is created in the resources templates folder. Now, let us run our application. Run as boot application. Run as boot application. Now check this. Now we are able to start the project. Application is started. As we discussed, as we have added H2 driver, the application is starting the H2 database. H2 database we can access with this URL pattern. And this application started using Apache Tomcat as an embedded container. Tomcat port number is 8080. Now let us go to browser and let us access our application. Localhost colon 8080. Are we able to access our index page? When I send the request for 8080, are we able to access the index page or not? Yes, that means our controller is executing as expected. So this is the controller. I'm sending the request to this method. This method is returning index. So index is a template. That a template page is loaded. Now, what we need to do is, in that template, we need to develop a form which is responsible to capture user data to create the account, like name, email, number, gender, date of birth, SSN, some fields we need to capture. So for that, we need to write a presentation logic. Now, I want to write that presentation logic by using Bootstrap. So I want to add Bootstrap in our application. Anybody know how to use Bootstrap in the project? Anybody know how to use Bootstrap in the project? Come on, guys. Do you know how to work with the Bootstrap? Yes or no? Some people know, some people don't know. So simple. If you are new to the Bootstrap, simply go to the browser and type getbootstrap.com. You just go here, get to Bootstrap. So I'm going to Bootstrap website. Bootstrap is used to make our websites more beautiful with responsiveness. Okay, go to docs. So I'm going to get bootstrap.com website. So this is the URL of the website. From here, you can get the Bootstrap CDN to integrate in our HTML pages. Go to this website and click on docs. In the docs, here if you see, include Bootstrap CSS and JS in our HTML page. So this is the content. Second one, this is normal. Create an index file. This is a normal HTML file without Bootstrap. Now this is HTML file with the Bootstrap. So Bootstrap link will be available. Bootstrap script will be available. These are the two things that we need to add in our HTML to use Bootstrap classes in our presentation type. So just to copy this and add this. I'm just pasting. That's it. I'm just pasting. That's it. Hello world is available. Now let us refresh. Earlier it is displaying index page. Now when I refresh, can you see the font is changed? So earlier it was displaying just this is index page. Now the font is changed. Localhost colon 8080. The font is changed. The font is coming as hello world. Good, beautiful font is coming for that. But here margins are not available. Top margin is not available and side margin is also left side margin not available. Top margin also not available. So what I will do is this hello world, instead of keeping here, I'm going to write one div. Div class is equal to container. So when I give div container, it is going to give some margins. It is going to give some margins. Now I will specify user creation, something like this. Now refresh. Now can you see it is giving some margin at the left side? some margin is coming at the left side. So when I give div class is equal to container. So whatever the logic you want to write to this index.html, inside the index.html, I'm going to write that logic inside the div class is equal to container. So some margin is coming. I want to give some margin at the top also. Okay, on the top, there is no margin now. So to give the margin at the top, margin top 5 pixel, I'm adding empty-5. Now we will get some top side margin also, right? So simple. I am making my UI more beautiful by including Bootstrap in the project. How I am adding the Bootstrap in the project? So simple. We are going to get to bootstrap.com. So when we go for the get bootstrap.com, here Bootstrap link and Bootstrap script is available. Just you copy this HTML completely and paste it. Then whatever the form you want to develop, that form you can develop by using div container class. So I'm writing div class container, margin top 5. Inside that user creation, just I have given one line text. Now in this, we need to create the form. In order to create the form, we are going to use a time leaf. Let me include time leaf here. XML namespace : time leaf. So https : www.timeleaf.org. www.timeleaf.org. I'm using timeleaf in order to develop the presentation logic in our project. Check this URL is working or not. Spelling mistake. timeleaf.org. Yes, this is the correct URL. So we need to configure that timeleaf URL in the HTML tag so that we can use timeleaf tags by using th. So first one, I want a form th colon action, then th colon object, then method. Okay, so I want to create a form. So the form should have some action and form should have some object and a method. I want to submit this form by using post request. So for that, I'm using method is equal to post th colon action. That means whenever this form is submitted, what you want to do. I want to submit this form by calling one URL pattern. Okay, so like this, you can configure whenever this form is submitted, I want to send the request to save user. So this is my URL pattern. I will write one method in the controller. Currently method is not available. Okay, this is a get request method. It is used to load the index.html. th colon object. So th colon object is basically used to configure. th colon object is used to specify the form binding object. th colon object is equal to $of user. So what is the $of user? User is the key. So whenever this method is executed, it will send user object to the UI in the form of key and value. Using this key, we can access this object. Now in the form, th colon action represents when the form is submitted, what action you want to perform. When this form is submitted, I want to send a request to this URL pattern. A post request I want to send to this URL pattern. th colon object. What is the purpose of th colon object? th colon object is used to map our form fields to binding class. Here form fields are available now. These form fields I want to map to binding class. For that th colon object. We will write the variables. Now first let me write one button. Input type is equal to submit. Okay. Input type is equal to submit. Value is equal to submit. Value is equal to submit. I want to display one button in the form. Refresh. Check it. Now submit button is coming. Are we able to see the button now? Yes. Localhost colon 8080. One button is coming. But the button color is not looking good. That button color is not looking good. Can we change the color for the button? Can we change the color for the button? Yes. By using Bootstrap, you can give beautiful colors for the button. class is equal to button hyphen primary. So when I give class is equal to button space button primary, so that button will get some color. Currently it is, the button does not have any color. When I refresh now, can you see that button is coming with a blue color, sky blue. Primary button is coming as primary blue. Suppose if you want to give a red color button, then you can give button danger, button primary, button danger. Then the color is coming in the red color. The button is coming in the red color. So button primary, button danger. If you go for button info, the color is changing. You can give button success. The color will come with the green. So like this, you can change the button colors by using Bootstrap. Okay, button primary, button secondary. Like this, you can add the colors for the button. Now, when I go for a primary, it is coming as a sky blue. When I go for secondary, it is coming like this, light black or cement color, I can say. It is coming like this. So depends on the requirement. Whatever the color you want, you can add for your button. Okay, I'm making the button as a primary. So I want that button to display in the sky blue. So button color is primary. So button is coming like this. So what we are doing to add the colors to our web pages? Simply we are added Bootstrap link and we added Bootstrap script. And form I am writing. Now I want to display form fields here. To display the form fields, let me go for a table. Inside the table, a table row. Inside the table row, we can go for a TD, table data. Okay. Inside the table data, we will say that full name, then TD, input type is equal to text. I want that as a text field. Input type is equal to text, then th colon field. This text field should be mapped to which variable? This text field should be mapped to user object full name variable. This text field should be mapped to user dot full name variable. So if you see our controller, in the controller user object, it is having a full name. So that means whenever user submit this form, this full name text should be stored into our full name variable. So for that reason, we are displaying a text field. Input type is equal to text. th colon field is equal to star of user dot full name. The meaning, this text field data will be stored into user object full name variable. That is the meaning of that. This text field data will be stored into user object full name variable. Are you guys clear with my point? Are you guys clear with my point? Now let us refresh our page and check it. Text field is coming or not. This text field is not coming. It is failed. What is the problem? So Spring input generator field type processor, line number 22, it is failing. The page is not loaded. Bean property user is not readable or invalid getter method of the parameter type for the setter. Okay. So here you no need to specify user. Directly you can specify field full name. Refresh. Now, yes, you can see the full name text field is coming. Full name text field is coming. th colon field full name. That means in the user object, full name variable is available. Then similarly, let us go for full name and email. Input type is equal to email. th colon field is equal to email. So whenever you enter the data in the email field, that field data should be stored into email variable. Okay. Now refresh. So full name field, email field is coming. Then similarly, we need to get the phone number field. Let us add one more row here, table row, full name, email, phone number. So phone number input type is equal to number. Th field is equal to what is the variable name? THNO I have given. So field is equal to dollar of star of phone number. Phone number field is displaying. Similarly, I want to display SSN number. I want to display SSN number. SSN number is nothing but social security number. Input type is equal to number, which is SSN. So for every field, one row I'm creating. So user creation, user form, I can say that it is user account form. I want to create account for the user. Now the form is loaded, full name, email, phone number, SSN, and we need date of birth also. Okay. So for that we need to add one more field, which is DOB. Input type is equal to date. Input type is equal to date. TH field is equal to DOB. Date of birth field we are adding. Now, when I select it, the calendar symbol is coming to select the date. Okay. Full name, email, phone number, SSN, DOB, the data is available. So with this, we are able to develop the form that we need. And we need a gender. Gender field is required. Okay. So gender is a radio button. So type, input type is equal to radio. TH field is equal to gender. Okay. Then TH colon value. For this, I'm giving as a male. I'm giving this as a male data. Okay. One radio button. Yes, male is coming. Similarly, I want to add for female also. Gender F I am giving. For this, we are adding as a female. So male and female is coming. Instead of 2 TDs, let us keep in the single TD, so that the look and feel will be good. Now, fine. Gender, male and female, it is coming. Now, refresh this form. User account form is available. Full name, email, phone number, SSN, date of birth, and gender. These are the fields we expected. Full name, email, phone number, gender, date of birth, SSN. Total 6 fields. So we have total 6 fields in our form also. Very good. Fine. So form development is completed. We created one simple controller class. Inside the controller class, we have one single method. That method is binded to get request. So whenever you send the request to this method will take the model object. Model object is used to send the data from controller to UI in the form of key and value. So model.add attribute of key and value. That key we are accessing in the index page. The controller method is returning index. In the index.html, th colon action, th colon object, and a method is available. What is the purpose of th colon action? Th colon action, it is used to map our form to a URL pattern. Okay, so the form is binded to this URL pattern. Whenever you click on the submit, that form should be submitted with this URL pattern by sending post request. Then what is this th colon object? Th colon object is used to map our form fields to form binding class. So that means you no need to capture the data from the form by writing request.get parameter. Whenever you submit the form, this form data will be stored into user object. This form data will be stored into user object. Now what I need to do? I need to capture the data and I need to store the data into database table. I need to capture that data and I need to store the data into database table. Controller should call the service method. Let me inject the service object, private user service, user account service. So I have my service object. I'm injecting my service object into my controller by using auto wiring. So private account service, service object is injected into controller. Now I want to call service layer method. So how to call that service layer method? First, let me write public string handle submit button. So it is going to give me user account object as a parameter and I'm taking model object as a parameter. What is the purpose of the model? Model is used to send the data from controller to UI. Model is used to send the data from controller to UI. And here I'm writing post mapping. Okay. Post mapping URL pattern is save user. In the index.html, I have given action as a save user. So whenever that form is submitted, the request should come to this method. In this method, first I am going to print system.out.println user object. The form data is really coming to our user object or not, I want to check it. If the form data is coming to the method, so whenever you submit the form, if the form data is coming to this method, then here logic to save the data, save form data in DB. We will see that how to save the data in the database. First, we need to check whether we are able to capture the form data or not. Okay, refresh, run as boot application. I'm running my application and I will check whether my form data is coming or not. Clear the console. Clear the console. Now, refresh. Page is loaded. Nothing is there in the console. Enter the data. Some Ashok IT email, phone number, SSN, date of birth, some value, gender, male. I have entered the data in the form. I'm trying to click on submit button. It failed. Now go to the console and check it. Where is the problem? Now user ID coming as null value. Full name is Ashok IT. Email ashokitschool@gmail.com. Phone number, gender, SSN, active switch. Created date, updated date. It failed. Template input exception. Error occurred. Error occurred once the form is submitted. Parse exception. Error during the execution of Spring Input General Field Tag Processor. Index line number 22, column 30. Line number 22, column 30. Okay. So here we are getting the problem. So why we are getting the problem? That means here our form is submitted. Form data we are able to capture into our binding object. So are we writing the logic to capture the form data, or data is captured by Spring framework itself? Are we capturing the form data or we are not capturing the form data? Guys, are you sending the form data? Are we capturing the form data or we are not capturing the form data? We are not capturing the form data. The data capturing part will be taken care by Spring only. Okay. Now here observe. The problem is in our code. So first time when I access localhost colon 8080, the form is loaded. So first time when the request is sent, this method is executed. It is loading the form. When the form is loading, we are sending model attribute key and value to the index page. In the index page, we are mapping that and we are binding the form fields to form variables. I mean binding class variables. After that, when the form is submitted, are we sending the user object again in the model? No. So because when the first time we are sending the request to this method, index page is loaded. In the index page, we are mapping our form fields to binding class variables by using field. But when it comes to the post request method, when the form is submitted, we are not sending the form data. We are not sending that binding object back. In order to resolve that issue, we need to use one annotation called @model attribute. When we use model attribute, then what will happen? Form data will be captured into this binding object. And when we return the index again, this user object will go to the UI so that after the form is submitted, again, form fields will be mapped. Fill the data, email, phone number, SSN, date of birth, and gender. Clear the console. Nothing is available in my console now. Submit. Click on submit. Now also it failed. So this time we are able to capture the form data. An error occurred during the template parsing. Template parsing error occurred. Scroll down. Neither binding result nor target object of being user available as request attribute. It is saying that the data is not available. The form, after the form is submitted, user object not available. So let me specify model attribute user. Okay, scroll back. Yeah, click on submit. Now this time we are not getting any exception. Clear the console, go back. Localhost colon 8080. My console is clear. Nothing is there in the console. Fill the form, email, phone number, SSN, date of birth, gender, click on submit. So this time we are not getting any exception. We are able to capture the form data into our controller. So earlier it got failed. The reason is first time when we are loading the index page, we are sending the user object and we are using user object in the form for mapping. But second time when we submit the form, we are returning the same index page, but we are not sending the user object for the binding. So in order to send user object back to the UI page for the form binding, we are using model attribute of user. So what is the purpose of this model attribute of user? So this line and this line both are same. Here manually we are setting model attribute of user with user account object. But here, once we capture the user object data, we are giving it as a model attribute. That means, so whatever the object we have with the data, that object will go to the UI in the model attribute for the form binding. Whenever the index page is loaded, that index page is using user object, that user object should be available in the model. Here manually we are setting in the model. Here through annotation we are setting into the model object. Are you guys able to understand these two methods? Are you guys able to understand these two methods? One method is used to load the form. Another method is used to handle the form submission. When we are loading the form, we are sending the form binding object to map form fields to our binding class variables. And when we submit the form, we are capturing the form data in the form of object. Again, that object we are sending to the UI to reload the same form with the data. Okay. Now I need to save this data in the database table. How we need to save the data in the database table? First of all, are you clear with this annotation? What is the purpose of a model attribute? Model attribute annotation is used to set our object to the model scope. Here manually we are setting our object in the model scope to map our form to model class variables. Here through annotation we are setting the object into model scope. That's it. That's it. Binding class. Binding class means the Java class which is mapped to form fields is called binding class. So form object. That means this form data. This form data will be stored to user object. That is called form binding object. Okay. Once we are able to capture the data, we need to save the data into database table. How to save the data into database table? Already we created a service class object in the controller through auto wiring. Service dot save or update the user, which is going to save or update the user, and it is giving some message. Okay, whatever the message it is giving, I want to send this message to my UI page. So to send that message to the UI page, we are having model object. So let me use model dot add attribute key comma value. Key is message, value is also message. Okay, that means once the form is submitted, it will capture the form data and it will store this binding object in the model scope again to reload the same form. and it will store the data into database by calling the service layer method. Service layer method will take the object and service layer method will talk to the repository and will return a message. Whatever the message returned by our service method, I'm storing that message in the model. Why we are storing the data in the model? Model is used to send the data to the UI in the form of key and value. It is used to send the data to the UI in the form of key and value. Are you guys clear? Right. Now let us try this. Try this. Now clear the console. Index.html. Let me print that message here. Text is equal to $of message. Whatever the message we have, let me print it. And the class is equal to text success. I want to print this message in the green color. So then I'm giving the class is equal to text success. Text success. Clear? Good. Now let us run the application, refresh, right click, run as boot application. Clear the console. Now go to our project, localhost colon 8080. Currently the form is empty. Now go to our database and verify the table is created or not. Localhost colon 8080 slash h2 console. I'm connecting to my database, which is the h2 database with the username and password. Click on connect. Now I connected to my database. User account table is available. Automatically the table created in the h2 database. Click on run. So when I go for run, the table does not have any record. It is an empty table now. Okay. Now go to our application, refresh. So currently there is no record available in the table. Select star from user account, run this. So there is no data available in the table. Now let us enter the data, name, email, phone number, SSN, date of birth, gender. Click on submit. Now we are getting the message as user record saved in the green color. Go to database, run this query. Now you can see that created date, date of birth, updated date, user ID, phone number, SSN, active switch coming as Y by default, email ID, full name, gender. Are we able to save the record in the database table? Is our save functionality working as expected? Are we able to save the record in the table? Yes, we are able to save the record in the table. Okay. Now, if you want, we can go for another button here, reset button. Input type is equal to submit value, and we can give the reset button also. In the table row, we can configure submit is 1 TD and we can configure reset in the another TD. Input type is equal to reset, value is equal to reset the form, button secondary. Okay, I'm going to give a secondary button for that. Refresh, submit and reset is available. Okay, run this query. The table is having one record. Let us insert one more record. John@gmail.com, phone number, SSN, date of birth, gender, submit. User record saved. Now go to database, run this. Now you see second user record is also inserted. So that means we are able to insert the records in the database table. Now look at this controller class. Look at this controller class logic. Just 5 lines of code in the controller. First, we are creating one controller class. To represent our class as a controller, we are using @controller annotation. Okay. Inside the controller, we are injecting our service class. Controller will talk to service. Then service will talk to repository. Repository will talk to database. Already I have shown you the layered architecture in the application. Already I have shown you the layered architecture in the application. Now, first this method is binded to get request. This method is used to load the form. So to load the form, we are using form binding object. To send the data from controller to UI, we are using model. Model.add attribute key comma value. Key is user, value is user object. Return index. Index is a HTML page. That HTML page I created under resources index.html. In the index.html, I'm using bootstrap and TimeLeaf. TimeLeaf I am configuring like this, and bootstrap link I am configuring, bootstrap script I am configuring. And I created a form by using HTML tags with the help of TimeLeaf template, and I am using TimeLeaf field tags to map our form fields to binding class variable. What is binding class? The Java class which is representing the form data, it is called as a binding class. So there is a submit button. Whenever you submit, it will send you a post request to this URL pattern with the form data in the user object. Controller will take the form data from the user object and will call service layer method. Service layer method will store the data into the database table by calling the repository method and will return a message. So that message which we got in the service layer, we are storing that message in the model object again. That model object is used to send the data to UI. All right. Now, so in the UI page, we are able to display the success message as expected. We are able to display the success message as expected. Now, I want to display one hyperlink here to display the users. I want to display one hyperlink here to display the users. Or else we can display one navigation bar also in the user account form, add user, view user. So we can add one navigation bar. How to add the navigation bar? Let us go for get to bootstrap. You can find out navigation bar example in the bootstrap. Go to bootstrap, go to docs. Here if you see nav bar will be available. When you select it, nav bar. I want to display navigation bar in my website. Nav bars. Nav bar is available. How you want that navigation bar that is going to display here. So you want a navigation bar like this. Navigation bar like this. Then you can copy this code and you can add that nav bar. You can simply copy this and you can have nav bar in the index.html. So before this, I'm adding a nav bar, then refresh. Now we are getting a navigation bar. Home, features, pricing, disable some, nav bar is available. In this nav bar, let me give some options. Nav bar, I'm going to give is as add user, href is equal to / add user, I'm giving add user, and next one here I will give as view users. I will give as view users and I will give as contact us. So something like this. View users, contact us, add user. I'm giving some links here in the navigation bar. For the view users, I'm going to display as /users. href is equal to /users, but currently in our system, there is no method available for the /users. For add user, we are having, but for view users, we don't have. Now, let me write one method in the controller, which is responsible to get the user's data. Okay, let me stop it. Let me get the data. Public string get users. Right. I need to get the user's data by using a get request, get mapping /users. So how we need to send the user's data from service to controller, controller to service? controller to UI, simply call service dot get all user accounts. I'm getting all user accounts, users list. I'm getting. Send this data to the UI model dot add attribute of key comma value. Key is users, value in user list. Then return some UI page. View users.html. I want to display all the users in one HTML page by using a table. I want to display the users in the HTML page by using table. So before that, I'm writing one method in the controller. This method is binded to get request with the slash users. So service.get user accounts. We got the list of user accounts data. That data we are adding in the model object, model.add attribute, key comma value. Key is users, value is user list. I am returning view users. Now let me create another HTML page, new, or else we can copy the existing HTML because bootstrap configuration is available now. View-users.html. So let us go for view users.html. In this HTML, we are going to write a table to display the data. We need to write a table in order to display the data. All right. So this is our container. Table under construction. Table construction we have to do. View users. View users. So whenever you click on view users, it should display another page with the users data. Now we need to write the logic to iterate the list. Controller is sending list of users in the model using key and value. Using this key, we need to iterate the list. Okay. First, let us go here, run this application, run as boot application, and let us verify. Console, clear this. Application started. Localhost colon 8080. Yes. Add user. Now go to view users. View users page is loading. But I want view users page with the table display. How to display a table with the data? Now we need to write the presentation logic for that. Okay. Go for table tag. Inside the table tag, T head will be available and T body will be available. T head and T body. Okay. Inside the T head, table row. Inside the table row, TH, we are going to display ID and we will display name, mobile number, and phone number. Phone number, gender, something like this. ID, name, email, date of birth, gender, phone number. Yes, this is our table. So now you see ID, name, email, DOB, gender, phone number is coming. And here in the T body, I need to display the data. Okay. So table row, for every record, I need to create one table row. TH colon each. TH colon each. So here user going to specify users list. Okay. What is users list? Users, what is the key? Key is the users. This key I'm going to access here. Controller is sending data in the model object, key comma value. Key is users, value is users list. Using that key, I'm getting the value. Okay. Now what I need to do is I need to display TD. In the TD, TH colon text is equal to dollar of user dot user ID. Let us verify. Is it giving the data as expected or not? Now refresh. There is no record. Add user. Let us add one user with email, phone number, SSN, date of birth, mail, submit. User record saved. Go to view users. Yes, user ID is coming. So in the same way, I need to display the name, email, date of birth, gender, and phone number. Users is a list. We are getting that from controller. Key users. From the users, I am iterating each user by using th:(each). th:(each) is equal to our for each loop in the Java. User ID and user full name and user email and user DOB, okay, and user gender and user phone number. I am getting all the user data. Yes, now user data is displaying in the table. Currently only one user is available. Now let me click on add user. Let us add one more user called John. John@gmail.com. John phone number, John SSN number, John date of birth, John is male, submit. Another record is saved. Go to view users. Yes, two records are displaying. Go to another user. This time I'm adding Smith. Smith@gmail.com. Phone number, SSN number, date of birth, gender. Submit. Another record saved. Third record. So total there are 3 users are available. But if you see, the table is displaying beautiful, our table is not displaying beautiful. Is our table looking beautiful? Or our table not looking beautiful? Guys, is our table looking beautiful? Or our table is not looking beautiful? Our table is not looking beautiful. So now I need to make it beautiful. For that, table class is equal to table. Just I am writing class is equal to table, bootstrap class. Now go and refresh. Now can you see the complete look and feel for the table got changed? Just with one class, the look and feel got changed. If I remove class is equal to table, and if I write just a table, now if you see, the table is not looking good. Table is not looking good. Now our HTML page is having a bootstrap, so I'm changing the class is equal to table. Then refresh, the complete table look and feel got changed. Okay. Now, do you need some borders for the table? Yes, we can add some borders for the table. How to add the borders? Class, table, bordered. Table, table bordered. Refresh. Now, we got the light border for the table. And I want stripes. I want to highlight the lines one after other. Then we can give table stripe. Table stripe. Now you see the stripes available for the table. First row is having highlight and third row is having highlight. And if I go for a fourth row, that also will be highlighted. Let me go for Rani. Rani@gmail.com. Some phone number and some SSN number, date of birth and gender female. Submit. That user record saved. Go to view users. Now Rani record is coming. First row and third row is highlighted. First, third, fifth, seventh, ninth, 11th, like that. The odd numbers are going to be highlighted. That is called table striping. So we got the good look and feel for our table. Now, but this is not sufficient. Okay. I want to add hyperlinks for that. I want to add some buttons to edit and delete the data. Go to database. You can check in the database what are the records are available. Connect to the database and check it. Run this. So there are total 4 records available in the database. And when I go for view users, those 4 records are displaying. The records are displaying as expected. You can add the user and you can view the user also. Got it? Now I want to display action column. I want total 3 buttons here. Na? So as per our requirement, 3 buttons should be available. So first one is edit, delete, and action. Edit, delete, action columns are required. Okay. So let me go for th edit. Okay. So for this, we need to give one extra column there to edit the record. Now it is not th colon text. We need to give a href is equal to slum hash of edit. I'm giving edit option. Okay, edit option is coming here, which is used to edit the record. If you want to give some button for that, you can give class is equal to button primary. Then that edit will display with the edit option. It is displaying with the edit option. Okay. Similarly, you can give delete. You can give delete. For the delete also, we can write one button danger. Okay. Instead of edit, I'm giving here as a delete. Now, edit and delete button is came. Edit and delete buttons came. So using this, you can edit the record and you can delete the record. But currently, we don't have any functionality. When I click on edit, nothing will happen. When I click on delete, nothing will happen. So these are just dummy buttons as of now. These are dummy buttons as of now. Okay. So we can give one more option, action. We can give one more option called action. So in the action, we need to specify soft delete or hard delete. Soft delete or hard delete we need to specify. Sometimes I need to go with the activate and sometimes I need to go with the deactivate. So activate, deactivate options should come there. So it depends on the requirement. We are going to configure whether do you want to activate the record or you want to deactivate the record. When the record is active, that button should display deactivate. When the record is already deactivated, button should be displayed as a activated. Based on the condition, we need to display activate or deactivate option. Okay. So activate or deactivate option. If the current status is active, then it should display deactivate. If the current status is deactive, it should display activate option. Now you see the complete web page look and feel got changed. The complete web page look and feel got changed. Is our UI looking beautiful now? Guys, is our UI looking beautiful now? Is our UI looking beautiful now? How this beauty is coming? Bootstrap. Bootstrap. We added Bootstrap and we are using Bootstrap classes in our project. Now I want to display the buttons, depends on the status. Okay. So I want to check one condition. Let me check a condition. Condition check in time leaf. Conditions in the time leaf. How do if else in the time leaf? I want to display if else in the time leaf. Okay. With the condition, complex expression, remove tag, th colon if condition is a hello. If condition is false, we need to do that. If case dot manager user dot role. If case admin, user is administrator. If roles dot manager star, case is other type. I want to check some condition. If user dot customer div guest, if customer dot anonymous, customer name. No. I want to do condition check. Yes, this one will work. Let me try. dollar of user dot active switch if case is equal to y and if case is equal to n. Okay. If case is equal to y, then I need to display this as deactivate. If the case is n, then I need to display activate. Button success. Based on the condition, I want to display the buttons. Okay. Now currently we are getting deactivate. Go to database. Let me edit one record. For Ashok record, let me edit the status as n. I have updated the status as n for my record. Oh, now can you see? For one button, we are getting the button, or for one record, we are getting the button as active. For another record, we are getting the button as deactivate. So let me edit the another record also. Run this. So Ashok John Ronnie record is available. Let me deactivate the Ronnie record. Edit Ronnie record. In the DB, I'm directly making active switch as n. In the DB, I am making active switch as n. Now refresh our application. Perfect. So for two records, we are getting activate button. For the two records, we are getting deactivate button. So why for one record activate button, for another record deactivate button is coming? It is depending on current status of the record. It is depending on current status of the record. Now if you observe in the database, Ashok record is already inactive. So that's why for the Ashok record, activate button is coming. And when you go for John record is already active. So that's why deactivate option is coming. Similarly, Smith record is already active. That's why deactivate is coming. Whereas Rani record is available, already inactive. That's why activate option is coming. So based on the current status, opposite operation will be displayed. Based on the current status of the record, opposite status will be displayed. Based on the current action, based on the current status, opposite action will be displayed. If current status of the record is active, then it will display deactivate button. If the current status is deactive, it will display activate button. Are you guys clear? Are you guys clear with my point? Add user, view user. Now, let me add another user. Let me go for Kathy. Email kathy@gmail.com. Phone number, some dummy data. SSN, some dummy data. Date of birth, female. Submit. User record saved. View users. Now, Kathy record is coming. Kathy record by default inserted in the table with active status. As the record is already active, it is displaying deactivate option. As the record by default will be active status, it is giving deactivate button. Able to follow me? Yes. Now see what is the logic I am writing in the controller. I'm writing just one method called get request method. So what is the purpose of this get request method? What is the purpose of this get request method? So this get request method is responsible to retrieve. This get request method is responsible to retrieve user records from the database table. So in the database table, multiple records can be available. Okay. Service.get all user accounts. Our controller method will call the service method. Service method will call the repository method. Will get all the records. So service will give the records to the controller. Controller will send the records to the UI in the form of a model object. Model.add attribute key comma value. So this key we can access in this UI page. This controller is returning view users. View users is our HTML page. In the view users, what we are doing? We are using Bootstrap and we are writing a table. The table we are writing inside the div container. Top margin I have given for that container. And the table we are displaying. For the table, I'm using some Bootstrap classes. Table class is equal to table, table bordered, table striped. Some table classes I'm giving, table header data and a table body data. In the table body, I am writing th:\each. That means for every user record, one row should be created. In that row, we are displaying the user data and we are displaying two buttons, edit and delete. Edit and delete are static buttons. For every user record, edit button, delete button should be displayed. But what about activate and deactivate? Activate and deactivate should be displayed based on the user current status. If user current status is already active, then for that user, deactivate button will display. If user status is already inactive, for that user, activate status will display. Deactivate means we are going to soft delete the user, for that danger button. Activate means we are activating the user, for that success button I am giving. So based on current status of the user, the buttons will be displayed here. Based on the current status of the user, the buttons will be displayed. So if you see in our application also, same thing. Edit, delete, activate or deactivate are there. Here the logos are available. Here the logos are available. But here I am giving the text for them. Okay. Here the logos are available. There I have given text for them. Are you guys clear with my point? Look at this HTML. Time leaf, how I am displaying a table with the buttons with conditions. Activate, deactivate buttons are displaying with some conditions. So here the conditions are available. You can check this. Guys, so same Bootstrap classes we are going to use in the Angular also. In the Angular also, we are going to use Bootstrap to make our Angular UI pages more beautiful. Okay. Are you able to understand the code that I have implemented? Are you guys able to understand the code that I have implemented? Some people are able to understand, some people are not able to understand. The people who are not able to understand the code, they are not aware of Spring Web MVC topics. If you don't know Spring Web MVC, then it is difficult to understand. So this is a span class. Here I'm writing switch. So I'm taking the user active switch. What is the current status of the account? If the current account status is Y, then it will display deactivate button. If current active switch is N, then it will display activate button. So based on the condition, the button will be displayed. I don't want to display same button for every user. If a user is already deactivative, that means if the user account is N, then activate that user. That means present status opposite button should be displayed. Conditionally, we are displaying the buttons. Conditionally, we are displaying the buttons. Okay, good. So now I want you people to work on this code, and I want you people to work on edit, delete, activate, deactivate functionalities. So currently my users are displaying, but when I click on edit, nothing will happen. When I click on delete, nothing will happen. When I click on activate or deactivate, nothing is happening. Just dummy buttons are available. Just dummy buttons are available. Now, when I click on the edit, that record should go in the editable mode. When I click on the delete, that record should go to delete state. We should be deleting that record permanently. When I click on activate button, that record should be activated. When I click on deactivate button, that record should be deactivated. So we need to write the logic for this 4 hyperlinks. So there are 4 hyperlinks available. 2 hyperlinks are static, edit and delete. And this is deactivate and this is activate. So currently href is equal to hash. There is no action for that. Now I want you people to write the action for them. Okay. Can you guys try implementing edit and delete for this functionality with activate, deactivate? 4 functionalities are pending. We should be able to edit the record and we should be able to update. We should be able to delete the record permanently. We should be able to activate the record and deactivate the record. Can you guys try that? Can you guys try that logic? Or you want me to write it? We need to edit and update the record. We need to delete the record, activate and deactivate the record. Do you guys will try this weekend? Or you want me to develop now? Anything is fine for me. If you want me to write that code, I will complete that in another 15 to 20 minutes. That code also will be completed. It is not a big deal to edit, delete the record and activate and deactivate the record. So people want to try that first. Okay. If anybody don't know how to iterate the table, you can take this screenshot. The code that I have written to display the table. You can take this screenshot just to understand how to display the buttons here. And try to implement this logic. Tomorrow, you have time. Tomorrow, Sunday, no class. We have next class on Monday. In the Monday class, I will complete this functionality. Before I am going to complete this functionality, I want you people to complete this functionality. Can you guys do that? Super. Okay, cool. So in the Monday session, I will work on edit functionality, delete functionality, activate and deactivate. So today we are able to develop a controller with the 3 methods. One method is used to load the empty form with the form binding. One method is used to save the user in the database table. Another method is used to retrieve the users and display in the UI page by using Bootstrap. Add user form, view users table is also coming. Navigation bar is also added. And buttons are available. Buttons are currently dummy. There is no action for the buttons. I want you people to write the logic for the buttons. Try to do it. If you fail, Monday you will learn. If you don't try, you will never learn that. You try that first, how to edit and delete. Perfect. Anybody having any questions? You can raise your hand in the Zoom to unmute your mic. People who are having questions, you can raise the hand in the Zoom so that you will get the option to unmute your mic. Yeah. Who is Han? H-E-A-N. Can you unmute your mic? What is your question?
Hello, sir. Because they said.
Yeah, hi Vikas. Why your name is not clear in the Zoom? Enter the correct name.
Yes, sir. Sir, I'm not able to run the project. Can you share my screen?
So okay, screen sharing I will take at the end. Any question that you have from the today's class?
No, sir. No.
Good. Saubhagya, do you have any questions?
No, sir.
You don't have any question. Okay. Parikshit, do you have any questions?
Yes, sir. In my previous class, I have learned about Java backend only. I don't have too much knowledge about HTML and CSS. So
Okay.
I'm little difficult to understand these things.
Mm-hmm.
What should be I add in my extra videos? Or how can I learn these things?
Sir, we have uploaded free videos on the HTML, CSS in our YouTube channel, sir. From there, you can learn those things. Because
Okay,
in this course, I'm not going to teach you HTML and CSS.
okay, sir. Okay. Backend, I can understand, but front end, I
Yeah.
have some issue.
Yeah.
Okay,
You need to do some practice on the front end part, sir.
okay, sir. Okay.
Cool. Tushar, what is your question? Hello, Tushar. What is your question?
Sir, Tushar is not audible. I can, sir, why you given hyperlink into the UI of deactivate, sir, where we want to navigate hyperlink?
Sir, you can give the hyperlink here or you can write the button also. Anything is fine. So whenever I have given the hyperlink, I will give some URL pattern. When I click on that edit icon, right, then it will open the another page with the form to display the data. Okay.
Below also.
Here also, you can give the buttons or you can give the hyperlink. Anything is fine. I want to send the request when I click on that hyperlink or when I click on the button. In this, edit and delete, you can give the hyperlink or you can give the button also. Our requirement is when user perform operation, when user click on edit, delete or activate or deactivate, request should go to the controller to perform the operation.
And sir, for the UI to controller model object is used and controller to service service annotation and again from
those are the basic Spring Boot concepts, sir. We already discussed in the Spring Boot course what is auto wiring, what is controller.
Yes, sir. I'm just confirming for the communication we are using those kind of annotation. Right?
Correct.
Building the connection between one entity to another entity.
Yes. Yeah, Bhima, what is your question? Hello, Bhima. Ashok Kumar, your question?
Yeah, hi Ashok, good morning.
Very good morning.
Yeah, actually my question is like we are using at the rate controller annotation here, right? But in case of REST controller, how can we represent model, I mean UI?
If you go for the REST controller, then there is no concept of HTML pages. REST controller will return the data in the JSON format. That JSON data you need to display in the Angular application. That we will discuss in the major project. Okay. So currently in our application, we are using TimeLeaf as a presentation. So our controller is returning the index page, HTML pages. When you go for REST controller, your methods will return the JSON data directly. That JSON data we need to display in the Angular application.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Good. Sorry, Raghu, your question? Raghu, what is your question? Sachin Yadav.
Sir, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Here, instead of model object, can we use map collection to send the data to UA?
You can do that also, sir. But in the Spring Web MVC, to send the data from controller to UI, we will use model objects.
Okay, sir. What is the difference between the model object and map?
Model is also internally map only. Model is internally extending the properties from the map.
Okay, then fine. Thank you.
Yes.
Sir,
Yeah. Hi, Sachin.
yes, sir. Sir, I don't have Spring Boot Web MVC knowledge, and I know only Spring Boot basics. I know Spring MVC. So, sir, we have not configured here dispatcher servlet.
Whenever you go for the Spring Boot, you no need to configure dispatcher servlet. It will be taken care by the boot with auto configuration. So I told
Yes,
you
sir.
for attending this course, Spring Boot knowledge is mandatory. That is a prerequisite.
And sir, in HTML page, sir, we have used a placeholder. So, sir, how can we identify where I use dollar in placeholder and where I have to star, where I have to use
That is a time-lived syntax, sir. When you want to refer one object, then you need to refer this as a dollar. When you want to map that to a variable, then we have to use a star. These are the time-lived syntaxes.
And sir, for @ we have to for URL.
Action. Whenever you are giving the action URL pattern, we will give it as @.
Yes.
Okay. Praveen Latte, what is your question? Akib, what is your question?
Sir, while I was testing this backend APIs in Postman, as the JSON data is not available, I was not able to test this. So how can we test this APIs?
You are creating a controller or REST controller.
Controller.
Controller means you can't test in the Postman.
So we have to create basic UI to check.
That is the reason I'm creating HTML pages. If you are using REST controller, then you can test in the Postman. So for this project, I'm not using REST controller. Okay. Cool. Krishna, what is your question?
Hi, sir. Actually, in repo we have written some query, sir, that @ query. Yes, this one. Yeah, we best practices we will write here, but can we write in service class also, sir?
No,
Like
sir, because these custom queries are related to data JPA. Data JPA will provide the implementation for this method and you will execute this query. So you cannot write in the service layer. Okay, this is a repository concept.
Okay. Okay.
All good? Yeah. So someone told that they are not able to run the application. Who is that? The starting, someone told not able to run the application, want to share the screen. Who is that guy? Can you respond in the chat box? What's your name? Bhima, what is your question? Bhima Linga, you can unmute your mic. Because you have the problem. Because Patnaik,
Yes,
can
sir.
you unmute? You are facing the problem to run the application?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please share your screen.
Can you allow?
Yes, I have given the option. You can share your screen because.
Now, sir, my screen is visible, sir.
1 minute. Yes, I can see now.
Not able to, sir, run the application.
Can you right click on your project and close the remaining projects? Right click on that project. Then close unrelated projects. Select the option close unrelated projects. Yeah, I understand the problem. Go to your repository interface. Because go to your repository interface. Yeah, here in the line number 16, you have given that entity class name incorrect in the query. You have given user account, update user account. That query is incorrect. You need to give the class name. That U should be uppercase. That is the mistake. Yep. Now you can run your application. Now open the console, see where is the problem. 1 minute. Same thing. Query is the problem. Go to your repository. Your custom query is incorrect, sir. Update user account. Set active switch is equal to status. Where user. Show me your exception in the query clearly. I need to read that properly. Complete error. Scroll down. Yeah, go to your repository. Sir, in the method, in the line number 17 method, you need to write that line number 16 you need to cut and you need to keep in the line number 18. Why are you writing that for delete by ID? That query is for the last method, right? Save it. So basic data JPA concepts you are not able to follow. Yeah, now your port number is already in use, 8080. In the console above, there is a close icon is there. You need to stop your server. 2 instances are running for the server. Maximize your console. Maximize your console. Yeah, here there is an option called close option is available. Right side, can you see cross icon? Yeah, cross icon, click on that. Yes, now go back and start the server again. Refresh your project.
Hello.
You configure the different port number. Server.port 9090. Server.port is equal to 9090. Give you a different port number. Yeah, save that. Update your project and run that. Now your application is started. Good. Fine, guys. So with this, I'm stopping for today. So all of you, please work on the project completion part. Edit functionality, delete functionality. You need to develop along with activate and deactivate. We have the next class on Monday. Before coming to Monday, everybody should be able to complete the task. So in the Monday session, I will complete this implementation. Bhima, I'm giving unmute. You are not able to unmute, mister. You can send me a message in the group. I will read
Hello,
that.
sir. Hello.
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Sir, have regarding doubt in yesterday last month, sir, status.
Tell me.
Sir, can I repeat that one, sir? I can't suck that method.
Which one?
Implementation. Service implementation.
Service implementation I have done in the last session. Na?
Yeah, sir, but I have tried now. Morning, yesterday also, I can't complete that one, sir. Last one. Try and catch.
Yes, you can do this.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, fine, guys.
Sir, I have a doubt. Timeleaf import, sir, can you give that one? Import statement.
And Divya Bhavani, we no need to create the implementation for the repository. Implementation will be taken care by JPA. You just need to create the interface. That's it. Implementation will be taken care by data JPA.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I can understand.
Fine. Good, guys. So please try to complete this project before coming to tomorrow's session. That is on Monday. Next class on Monday. Thank you. In the Monday, I will complete the coding part. Before you are coming to the class, you should try to complete that logic. Thank you, guys.